So, Jean was reading an X-Ray and Vav comic. Who am I kidding? X-Ray and Vav comic! I called it! Woo! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Aaron Van Nuss, and welcome to another episode of Spoiled, the show where I don't necessarily give you a review score, but dive into all of the good stuff. Now, let's talk about RWBY. Volume 2, Episode 2, Welcome to Beacon. I don't know why I use that accent. Heslabard, jump cut! Can you at least manage a jump cut because we still don't have an intro? Episode 2 starts out as a pan-in zoom shot heading towards Beacon. The clouds are breaking away, all of the beautiful gardens, courtyards, new students arriving for whatever the festival is, but that doesn't matter. We get an awesome shot at the clock tower. As it comes up, Ozpin, whatever his name is, and Glinda Goodwitch, who I really like that character. She cleans up like a boss. Literally cleans up. I talked about that last time. Zooms in, both of them are having a discussion about all the warships that are showing up. It even, you see like a few coming in, they're like all... I don't know how else to describe that. It looked really, really cool. All warships aside, we're introduced to Ironwood, who, if you pay attention, immediately puts, I'm assuming, booze in his tea or his coffee or whatever that was Ozpin gave him. So, their conversation goes on, but you can tell there's a point they're driving towards. I really like the way it starts out with such light banter, and they're like, hey, there's something serious we need to talk about. Let's talk about the serious thing. Ironwood is driving towards what Crow said. Towards the end of Volume 1, Ozpin, with his awesome little future tablet, holds it up, gets a message from Crow, who is some huntress, team leader, and it simply said, Queen has pawns. I imagine that's what's elaborating on this entire season. Whoever Queen is, we're assuming Cinder. Maybe it's somebody else. That'd be cool. Some other entity, some other character comes in playing like, oh, you thought Cinder was bad? Look at me. I don't know. I thought the conversation on the clock tower was nice. You can tell it was kind of set up for this entire episode and for a lot of things to come in the season. However, the best line of dialogue was actually in the trailer, and it was hands down this one. Do you honestly believe your children can win a war? I hope they never have to. It was in the trailer! I knew it was coming! It's a good line, though. That's all there is to life. If you have a good line of dialogue, you have a good line of dialogue. Oh. We get an immediate scene cut to everybody in the library. And I gotta say, this was probably one of my favorite scenes from RWBY. All of RWBY so far. Just because the banter and the dialogue. And by the way, was I the only one that wanted to play that card game? I mean, like, that would be the best thing ever. Rooster Teeth. Make the card game. Make it! No, but seriously, that card game looked pretty awesome. So, as Team RWBY's discussing the card game and all the ins and outs of how awesome it would be if it was real, we get a shot of Team Juniper interacting with each other, but in kind of an underlined way. Not necessarily like dialogue going all over the place, so it's not huge character development, but it's just neat to see like the ways, I guess you would technically say, they're studying. Ren, he's actually reading. He's turning the pages in a big book, a rather large book actually, and he pops Nora's little sleeping bubble, and she's dreaming about pancakes. I thought that was nice. I'm not sure where the pancakes joke came from. Maybe I missed it, but either way, it was enjoyable. If you listen close, she's talking about pancakes the entire time she's in the library. So, Jean was reading an X-Ray and Vav comic, which then was immediately taken away, replaced by a book. Pyrrha started reading it, and then Pyrrha got a smile on her face because an X-Ray and Vav comic would be awesome. Stepping back for a second and looking at the scene as a whole, just think about all the dialogue. There's no huge fight scene going on. There's no huge story arc, no massive moments happening. There's just the dialogue, and it's not life-threatening. It's just them interacting as friends, playing a game. It turns into something serious, but we get an awesome shot of Team RWBY just interacting, joking around. And I really like it because if you pay close attention, you can tell how much time and effort must have gone in from Miles and Carrie just writing this dialogue. It feels like 4 friends, well, 3 because Blake's not really participating, but it feels like 3 friends actually sitting there joking around. By the way, Yang would be a sadistic dictator. Girl was crazy! Busting out trap cards left and right. I'm amazed this wasn't Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Shadow Realm came out of nowhere. I wonder how many of you are going to get that reference. So, as Team RWBY's playing their card game, Jean walks over to the table, probably trying to flirt with Weiss, even though Pyrrha is right there! What is wrong with you? But they won't let him play the card game because it already has 4 people, even though Blake isn't really participating because of everything weighing on her mind. And then Sun and blue-haired guy, who apparently his name is Neptune. I actually really like that name. Also, I knew I did not know his name last time. I actually thought this part was pretty great because apparently Neptune, after defending his intelligence, starts flirting with Weiss immediately, to which Jean responds, "Oh, come on!" Neptune using his smooth words, Sun tries to do the same on Blake. It doesn't work. Assuming that Blake is either thinking about Adam, or thinking about everything that happened last season and the fact that no one's doing anything about it. Oh wait, that's the conversation later. Blake gets up and walks away from the table, to which Nora in the background responds, "Ha! Women!" Speaking of relationships, which ship or team are you on? Jean and RWBY, Ren and Nora, Jean and Pyrrha, Jean and Weiss, Weiss and Neptune, Yang and Mercury, Ospen and Glinda Goodwitch, RWBY and her scythe, the Crescent Rose. I think that one's confirmed. Blake and Sun, Blake and Adam, Blake and Roman? I really don't think that one's gonna happen. If you're for any of these teams, comment below. If you're against every single one of these teams, comment below. If you never want me to speak of this ever again, comment below. If you don't want to comment below, then don't comment below. We get a nice scene cut to Blake sitting on her bed thinking about the events from Volume 1, especially towards the latter end. But we really get an unseen conversation between her and Ospen the night when they got back to Beacon after the first season. This conversation was interesting in a lot of ways, but I think the main thing I took away might not be what you're guessing. My absolute favorite part of the entire conversation, which was good all around, hands down was Ospen. The way he was actually concerned about what was going on with Blake, why he wanted to know the truth. He wanted to help her, unless there's some underlying reason like he's actually the bad guy in the end of the show. Really hope I'm wrong on that one. All of my little enjoyable moments aside, we had some really interesting parts of this entire conversation as they're sitting in... Is that like an interrogation room? What is that? That's not his office. His office is that awesome clock tower looking deal. What was that room? Blake and Ospen are having a discussion about why she doesn't show everyone that she is a faunus. Why she doesn't show her cat ears. She hides them behind that bow. He's telling her, people are more open to it now. People are willing to accept them. To which she responds, maybe you are, but everyone isn't. She wants everyone to be more like Ospen, but it's just like the rest of the world isn't there yet. They still have all these old angers, all these old hatred. And it just shows how the show isn't just hitting face value. If you actually pay attention, it's hitting kind of some deep notes at times, which I enjoy. On one hand, we get jokes. On the other hand, we get serious story. We get plot elements. We get fight scenes. It's like everyone baked a cake, and the cake is called Awesome, and it hit you in the face during the food fight. So, Ospen's getting a lot more personality this time around. But the part I'm really excited about is whatever his weapon is. It's a cane, has this nice kind of crystal ball on top with the metal curving around it, but you can tell there's some kind of handle off to the side. It's like some kind of trigger mechanism. My guess is he causes a nuke. So does anybody care to take a guess as to why Blake didn't tell Ospen everything about that night at the dock? Me personally, I think she's trying to protect Adam, because he's probably still involved in the White Fang. And if she has feelings for him, or maybe it feels like a debt she has to pay, I don't know. questions. I personally think she's trying to protect Adam. Maybe she just feels like she has a debt to him. Maybe they're good friends. Maybe she's actually in love with him. I'm so sorry, son. You've got no chance. Look at the sword. Whatever Blake's reasons are for not telling Osmond all the truth, you could tell, he could tell, she wasn't telling him everything. Something tells me that I'm telling you that's going to come up later. And you'll tell it to others who will tell it back to me as you put it in the comments below. Which is telling everyone. Because if you tell me and I tell him and he tells her and she tells that guy, but no one talks to that guy, so he writes it on a note, sends it to Paraguay, and the note comes back to me and I read it and I put it in the next video and I send it into the comments for everyone to see, and they send it out and they send it back and I read it again, did it technically go anywhere? All little flashbacks aside, Blake wants to storm out of the room as the other three come back in, and blue-haired guy won the game. I really like calling him blue-haired guy. As Blake is about to leave the room, Weiss notices something's wrong, and we get, hands down, the most dramatic, hysterical, pretty funny when you think about it moment from Weiss, as she is balancing on a chair, pointing an objective finger at Blake, staring at her, demanding to know why she is so upset. Also, when Weiss is balanced on the chair, look at RWBY and Yang in the background. They're just kind of like... Also, I like the fact that Blake's little ramble she goes on here after Weiss points out that there's obviously something wrong. It happened in this episode. That made me really happy. I'm like, oh, Blake's gonna walk out of the room. Okay, fine, we have to deal with this. Just, I'm not talking to everybody. Nope, they jump straight to the point. Weiss called it out. Blake spills the beans. It's basically what we saw from the trailer. She's like, the White Fang is out there. They're planning something. We don't know what it is. We need to do something about it. Weiss is putting up the argument, we're not ready for this. Blake is putting up the argument, we may never be ready. I don't know what argument Yang is putting up, but she likes the spunk. And then we get this awesome moment from RWBY where we see kind of her crazy sadistic side as she builds up the emotion in the room, drawing everyone to unite into the ultimate team to take down the White Fang. Dramatic. I love the fact that the show can keep the serious tone, spill the beans about the plot, and also keep the jokes rolling out at the same time, especially if you pay attention to the background. Point in case, the Achievement Hunter poster in the background. It's still there, and I still love the fact that it's there. Also, when RWBY went on her dramatic rant to build everybody up as a team so they would unite against the White Fang and whatever it is they're going to do, seriously, she kept going like this and she was building them up and she was like, sisters, we have to unite to the ultimate team! I thought the girl was going to pass out from not breathing. Also, in case you guys haven't noticed, the facial expressions in this conversation, like in all of them, but in this conversation in particular, the little cuts, the smiles, just the confusing looks, it all looks so good. I'm sorry to harp on this again, but seriously, if you pay attention to the small details in this show, it's good. It's really good. So, all of them decide to work together. Team RWBY is ready to go. They're going after the White Fang. They don't know how they're going to do it. RWBY doesn't know what a ne'er-do-well is. What's a ne'er-do-well? RWBY and I are in the same boat, but it doesn't matter. But the best part is the fact that RWBY is still so easily distracted because her board game is still in the library. She goes charging out into the hallway, and who does she bump into? The bad guys. As RWBY turns that corner and runs headlong into the three villains of the show. You knew this part was coming because we saw trailers and stuff like that of them at the school. Not Cinder, but the other two. So they're standing there, and there's this awesome moment where Cinder is staring into RWBY's eyes. And you think about this. In the first season, the first episode, didn't RWBY technically see Cinder's eyes glowing from the helicopter jet thingy-majig when she was fighting Glinda Goodwitch? But I mean, seriously, at some point, is RWBY going to recognize her? It's probably going to happen too late in the show, and she's going to be like, I know who you are! And Cinder's gonna be like, yeah, you probably should have known the entire time. I even have the maniacal laugh, and I keep doing this to Cinder's voice, even though it's not her voice. Also, one little thing to take away. Yeah, Cinder has dust, but the Air 2 didn't have their weapons. If RWBY would have known, she probably could have taken out all of them right there. She had the crescent rose on her back. Just go back, look at the scene. It's literally sitting right here in all of its glory. She could have ended the show right there, just, oh, hi, welcome to... Yang! Yang, I saved the world! That would have been a plot twist. Oh, it just got M. Night Shyamalan up in here! Episode 2 ends with Cinder and all the other bad guys walking away as the camera closes in on her face and all you see is her glowing, evilly, awesome, beautiful, dramatic, terrifying, horrifying, other words that I can't think of right now, eyes. You guys were only 2 episodes in, and so far there's already been more character development than almost any other anime in existence.
Technically that's not right. There's a lot of animes with great character development.
I know! Be quiet! Seriously, when you honestly think about it, this show is elaborating on their characters now that setup is done, and I can't wait to see where Volume 2 is going to go. Again, we're only 2 episodes into this. I got a lot more videos to make, you got a lot more content to watch. I can't wait to see more of RWBY. One last little tidbit and I'll let you go and I won't talk to you again until next week. That end credit scene was awesome. As it shows the picture, as the credits are rolling, it looks like fan art. I wonder if it was actually done in-house or if they just took it from the massive community of people that love the RWBY show. Because seriously, just Google it sometime. There is so much fan art out there and some of the work they do is beautiful. The fans are awesome. You guys rock. Also, the song they had playing at the end, it was a little tidbit from I Burn from last year's volume and soundtrack, which was pretty awesome. You should go buy it. But the picture itself kind of reminded me of Kingdom Hearts with the different tiered levels and everybody sitting, Team RWBY and Team Juniper. RWBY looking all majestic, staring off, dreaming about the future. Yang kind of just like, oh, look at the size of my gauntlets. All joking aside, my name is Aaron Van Nuss. You have watched another episode of Spoiled. I thank you very much for joining me. I will continue to work the bugs out as we go. Or at least Heslabard will try. If he remembers how to work the bugs out. Seriously, dude, what do you even do? You eat my food, and that's about it. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again soon. Even though I am technically not seeing you, you are seeing me, and I'm staring into a camera, and it's awkward to talk to sometimes. Oh, okay, done with that. Hey, Heslabard, you wanna go see Guardians of the Galaxy? What? No, I'm not gonna do a review on it. It takes effort, dude. I talked to this camera for like 8 hours and I got 17 minutes worth of footage. 'Cause I ramble. Why do you think it takes so long? Why do you think I do jump cuts? Well, you're supposed to do it. You just... What do you even do?